My guest today is Trevor Basso. He has over 40 years of experience in accounting and tax. He's the owner of Basso Newman Chartered Accountants, a business that has been in operation for over 36 years.
I want to be meaningful to my clients, so I want to be there for them, and I enjoy being there for them.
Although his firm may be considered small compared to other chartered accounting firms, the partners would prefer to remain on a one-on-one basis with their clients, and hence the size is both planned and enjoyed. Trevor has been on the board of multiple organisations, including the Football Federation, the Royal Society for the Blind, and Enterprise Development Inc., an organisation that's worked with both the government and private sector for almost 20 years, fostering and mentoring young entrepreneurs in South Australia.
We are their confidants, we help them through, and so you tend to become more than just a financial advisor. You become a real advisor.
In addition to this, Trevor was also on the Register of Administrators with the Registrar of Aboriginal Corporations, which he was very enthusiastic and passionate about, and continues to be it working in the Indigenous space.
Communication. It's the ability not to talk down to people, to talk with people. And so I tend to find that I really enjoy that work.
He's a father of 3 with 2 grandchildren, and those grandchildren and children keep him on his toes outside of the office.
Hi, I'm Trevor Basso from Basso Newman. Join me on Accountants on Purpose podcast and enjoy.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bartholomew's from YouLegal. The Accountants on Purpose podcast showcases inspiring accountants who are leaders in their field.
And then it just came to me like a bolt of blue.
What makes them tick?
Love it.
How did they get to where they are?
I want to inspire.
And what do they do now for their teams, their clients, and the world? What's your earliest memory as a child?
I've never had a fantastic memory, but my earliest memory, I think, my family is Italian background, and my maternal grandmother, used to live in a house next to a hotel that was called the Sportsman Hotel in Grove Street. Mm-hmm. And the Central Market in those days was basically full of Italians. So everybody would go to the Central Market on a Friday, buy things to have for dinner, go around to my grandmother's place. It was 6 o'clock closing. It's before your time. It was 6 o'clock closing in those days. And so on Friday night, all my uncles, aunts, cousins would meet at my grandmother's place.
Wow.
And as a child, there was laughing and singing, and it was a great time. So I remember those times dearly.
Good ritual as well.
It was, because in those days there weren't, being Italian background, it was you were different. So it was good. It was nice to actually meet with people, my relatives, and they still meet this day.
Great.
It's good fun. They're nice people. They really are. Don't see them often enough, but they're nice people.
Do you have a favourite sport?
When I was young, I used to play, wintertime was football, Aussie rules. Summertime was tennis and cricket. And I used to 1 year play tennis, 1 year play cricket. And I played a lot of football with Ross Trevor Old Collegians, because I went to Ross Trevor College. Mm-hmm. These days it's golf and fishing.
Nice.
I love playing golf, and try to play that once a week at least. And fishing is when I can get to our place to fish, which is great.
I've been invited to a women's golfing day with a bunch of female accountants.
Really?
I can't play. Should I go anyway?
Of course you should. It's actually...
Is it just like a walk with a chat?
Well, somebody actually described golf as a way to ruin a good walk. My thoughts about golf is it's the most frustrating sport I've ever played in my life. When you consider that the ball is still when you're trying to hit it, you really feel a bit less than... physical when you can't hit a still ball, but I think you should try. You've got to start somewhere.
I don't know if I want to start in front of a bunch of other people, though.
You'll learn what real frustration is about in golf. It'll probably you can take it out on the golf ball. I tend to find you take it out on that little white ball.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and if you the harder you hit it, the better you feel. It doesn't go anywhere, but you still feel better about it. So my thoughts are, go for it, enjoy it. It might open up a whole new world for you.
Describe a typical day for you.
It depends a lot on the time of the year and the amount of working.
Yes.
In the really busy times, the typical day is rather sad, because you get up in the morning. I like to go for a walk. I'm walking on the River Torrens Linear Trail at the moment, which is a great way to have a walk. Really nice. And then come back. never been a big breakfast person, so I might have a cup of coffee, my 1 cup of coffee or 2 a day, and then head off to work, finish work, I don't know, 5, 6 o'clock, go back, potter around, then start some work again. So that's in the really busy times, which seems to be a lot these days. Other times than that, it's after you finish, try and find something to do, play golf. So I'll take half a day a week to play golf. I'll go out and meet with friends other times. Try to keep weekends free. Busy times, that's hard, but, you know, it's fun. That's the typical day.
Good. I try and take half a day for yoga. I guess it's a similar
How does that
thing.
go?
Friday morning.
Friday morning?
Do an hour and a half yoga class.
Yeah.
Which is half an hour, kind of.
Mm.
It works out to half a day.
Is that Bikram yoga?
I do that hot one.
Yeah.
It's
How
not.
does
I
that
don't
go?
do Bikram just from a
Yeah.
don't really agree with
Yeah.
Bikram's life
Mhm.
choices.
Mhm.
But I think it is a half a day thing to do hot yoga because you can't eat before.
Yeah.
You have to shower afterwards.
Yep.
It's like a whole kind of ritual around it. But it's good. I love it because we sit so much as professionals. I need to stretch or I'm going to end up.
I find the same with golf. See, golf is a half a day. It usually takes around about 4.5 hours to get around the golf course. And if you play like I do, you tend to zigzag a lot from one side of the fairway to the other. But again, it takes a good half day. So, you know, it's good. And then you have a drink at the end of it to analyse how poorly you played. So it's great.
That's the meditation side of it.
Is that what it's called? Okay. I like to meditate then, yes.
So being in the accounting and tax industry for so many years and having such a successful business in it, what drives your passion for your chosen profession?
Accounting isn't the most attractive profession, if you ask people. Unfortunately, I was never good at maths, so numbers were never my forte. But what I found was it's the ability to help people. When my father was in business, he had a concrete business. You know, in those days, you had bank managers, butchers. You could talk to people. Small business people like to talk to other people to say that they feel that they're not alone. There is no such thing as a bank manager anymore. Definitely no butchers. So who do they talk to? It's difficult to talk to your profession, the legal profession. It's not built for that, but we as accountants are. So that we become people's confidants. And I actually think that is the real plus of this profession, is that we are their confidants. We help them through. And so you tend to become more than just a financial advisor. You become a real advisor, a consigliere or whatever you want to call it. And that's what drives me. It's the ability to help people. And it's not just in tax or, you know, in accounting or looking at financial results and improving productivity. It's all encompassing. And so I think that's the most important thing is to be able to help people and have this, as we have in our firm, this client first attitude. So if I didn't do that, I don't know if I'd like the profession because I'm not very good at numbers.
Luckily, you have a team.
Oh, look, it's a case of I tell people that you can teach people numbers, but you can't teach them communication. It either comes or it doesn't. And we're lucky with our firm is that communication is all important. And so yeah, that's what drives me, the ability to help people, you know, and I've made some really good friends through the practice, through my clients, and there have been clients that have been there for decades now, and it always evolves. So it's evolving that also makes it enjoyable too.
Yeah, that's true. So many changes.
Yeah, I think your profession could probably, I mean, you do, but I'm not, as a profession, it probably needs to be able to communicate a little bit better rather than
which is funny because I think many lawyers see themselves as expert communicators.
Yeah,
but we at ULegal are trying to humanise legal,
where very true.
We're not trying to be robots for people. We want to have a relationship and we want to help them in a way that helps, that they want to be helped as well, rather than speaking legalese to people. And
I think smaller firms can do that because they don't have to give reports on Monday morning on how productive you were last week or how many hours you charged or did you make your budget this month, etc. We don't have those sort of requirements as such, so you're able to spend that extra time with people, whereas in a lot of the big world, extra time means money, and that's, I don't think that's not necessarily
not valued as highly.
No, not nearly valued as highly. So I think that is the differential between probably some of the smaller firms and the larger firms around town. So, that's what I enjoy.
Good point. How would you describe the culture at Basso Newman? I think we got a little taste
yes, you did.
of it then.
Look, we aim to be professional and productive and have our client first attitude. I think culture, you need enthusiasm to have culture. The team, it's a whole team effort at Basso Newman. We're only 12, 13 people in total. And so we attempt to have one big team and we all help each other and back each other. And to do that, the culture has to be one of trust and support, fun, but all the time knowing that we need to be professional both in our outlook and our output. So, I like to think that we're a team. I think it's evidenced by fact of the longevity of the staff that we have. We've always had good longevity, and even in today's climate, which people tend to come and go more regular these days, we still have good longevity. So I think our culture works in that we can maintain enthusiasm in the office, make it a fun place to work, but at the same time achieve the goals that we want to achieve. I'm hoping that's what the staff think.
Well, they'll all listen to this. You know that.
Yeah, so maybe we could edit that little bit out. That'd be great. But I think it's a good place to work. We've always said it's a good place to work. We aim for it to be because you're there so often, and as well as I do. There's so much time at the office that has to be not a place you have to go to. It's a place you want to go to.
So your business is a family-owned business. What have been the highs and lows of that?
Well, we've always been three partners. Before it was myself and my brother and Alan Newman, and now it's myself and my brother and Angelique Sanzo. So there's two of us are related out of the three. We've always been very much aware that we don't want to see it as an us against them for the third partner, because it can be difficult for a non-related third partner to come in with two brothers. But we've achieved that without any problems, really, because Greg and I are very similar in both in outlook and in attitude. And so...
And Angelique's been part of the team for so long.
Oh, she's been there for 20 years,
Anyway,
so that's fine. And she understands, and she has to put up with both of us, that's fine. But the reality is that that we have similar goals and similar values, not the same. As everybody grows up, they grow differently. But I think we're okay in that we're both relaxed, we're both professional. I think we're okay to be partners with, and we would never override the third person, never. And we never have in all the years that we've been together. I think that it's nice to know you've got somebody you can trust. You don't have to think about it. You just trust them. They're family. Family is important to me.
Yes.
And so I trust Greg implicitly, and I trust Angelique too. So we don't have any issues along those lines. It has caused. I think there is a problem. One problem with the family is because you see each other so regularly every day of the week, 5 days of the week. Outside of that time, you don't tend to see each other a lot, and that probably is an impact on the relationship. Our two families, he's got 3 kids, we've got 3 kids, and all the kids get on famously. So, we'll see each other for birthdays and for special occasions. Greg makes his salami, so we'd have a salami day. He makes his tomato sauce. He's the Italian in the family.
He really is, isn't
he?
Yeah. Continuing the traditions.
I'm the Italian and I eat it all. He makes it all. So there are things like that bring us together. But there is no doubt that you may not see as much of each other if you weren't working together. But we manage that pretty well. So we still catch up okay, and we're at different stages of our lives. So we account for all of that.
Okay, That's a great
Mm.
answer. What do you find the most meaningful part of what you do every day as an accountant?
Well, it's not balancing the books. My thoughts about that is my meaningful part. I think that there's two things. One is I want to be meaningful to my clients, so I want to be there for them, and I enjoy being there for them. And I want to support my staff too. All the partners in our office support our staff. So to me, for the clients, it's about being there when they want us and to give them good advice and to help them through. That's what's important. For the staff, it's being there for them. And there have been many occasions over the past where a lot of personal problems come into the office, and we help. We help with that. They know there's a place that they can run to if they want to. So being there available for them is probably is important to me and to Greg and to Angelique. There's no question about that. For the staff, for the clients, it's about just being there when they need us. And
you get to find out the whole kind of life cycle of people's lives, having been in business for so long.
So you're a young pup, okay? You're a young pup. Be at my age, but my age, because I was a partner at 23.
Yes.
So I've grown with my clients.
Yeah.
My clients have had kids. My clients have got grandkids now. My clients are some of them are starting to retire, and the next generation are coming through. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You go through a whole life with a client. That's really enjoyable.
Special.
That is really enjoyable, and still be there after this time makes it even more enjoyable, because we don't have a great we have good client retention. So the reality is some of these clients that started with me 30, 40 years ago are still here, and their kids are now running their businesses. And so we find that, say, for instance, Angelique, who's a lot younger than myself, is now dealing with the children, and I'm dealing with the parents. And it's great. But you're right. To come through the whole gambit of life with somebody is fantastic.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
What's your favourite quote?
Ooh. We had a cricket. I've got two or three, I think. I had a cricket game a little while ago with some clients, and so we got T-shirts made with the saying, "The older you get, the better you were." And so they were on the T-shirts. And that's my.
And that had Basso Newman on that.
Yes. Yeah. Clients have to have good sense of humour to be clients of Basso Newman. So that was it. Look, there's two or three. One is my father always said, two wrongs don't make a right. And sometimes that really annoys me, living to that quote, because there's sometimes you actually
want justice.
Yeah. I don't have to actually in the legal profession, my God. So that annoys me, but unfortunately I live by that. There's the harder you get, the luckier you are. The harder you work, the luckier you are. I particularly like that one because I do believe in that.
You do work very hard.
And being a good Catholic, being a Catholic, there's one that says, "Do unto others as you would have done unto you," which in other words, just treat people the way you like to be treated. If I sit with that, then really I'll treat people well. So that probably is one that I keep on thinking about a lot and live to, because I believe in that. I don't believe in treating people poorly.
This isn't on the list, but you do a lot of travel for auditing, and work with quite a few different kind of culture groups and work internationally as well. You haven't talked about that.
No.
And there's not so much like the family clients that you grow with. They're different opportunities that you have.
We deal a lot with the Indigenous organisations. And I actually think that's a little bit family, I have to say. In fact, it's a lot family.
Okay.
Again, a lot of these have been with me now for 30 years.
Wow.
And so I've grown with the organisations and I've been there. In fact, in some ways, I
probably one of the most stable parts of.
Very true. I mean, I've outlasted many CEOs, many boards. But it's such an enjoyment working for them. And we tend to go out bush a bit. And so you get to see parts of the world that other people don't see, good and bad. I love the work. We get on really well and always have, and we continue to get new clients because of that relationship. Again, it's can't stress, it's communication. It's the ability not to talk down to people, but to talk with people. And so I tend to find that I really enjoy that work. And over the last 3 or 4 years, we've been doing a lot in China, helping Chinese companies list here in Australia. And you know what? It's very similar. Again, once you've built a relationship, it's not, you don't sit dictating. You work with them, and they appreciate that. The cultural changes, the cultural differences are massive. But I'm learning a lot. You're never too old to learn, and I've found that with the last 3 or 4 years with the Chinese, they have a different way of doing things, and they can learn from us, and we can learn from them. But it really is a flow on from what I believe our creed is about client first. People see that. If they know that you're doing the best you can for them, sure, there'll be mistakes sometime, but everybody makes mistakes. But the fact is that they appreciate it. So I have to say that the travel can sometimes be onerous, but overall, it's good fun.
Worth it.
It's worth it. And if I wouldn't do it if it wasn't enjoyable, I don't think. I'm not a believer in that. It's got to be. It's got to give you something other than than the fee at the end, which isn't the be all and the end all.
So, what is the single most biggest experience, I suppose, or most impactful experience of your life so far?
I think that there are a few things. I think Dad died when I was 15, so that was hard for my mother to bring up 3 kids in that day and age. So that's 1971. So she brought up 3 kids and educated 3 kids. So I'll always be grateful to her for that. But at that stage, just before he died, we owned a hotel, which is now the Spark on Whitmore, which was called the Gothic way back then. And we had it was a lovely hotel. We owned it for 2.5, 3 years. Had a social club, and the social club one day had decided to have a cricket day out at Gawler with the Gawler Hotel, and it was just a fun day. We hired a double-decker bus. I was 15 at the time. Hired a double-decker bus. I invited 6 of my friends from school along, and everybody got on a double-decker bus. Went out to Gawler, played cricket for the day. And on the way back, everybody piled into the bus, and myself and my friends are up the top. And it's, in true style, social club style, all the adults were at the bottom and the kids were at the top.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, it was. It was great.
Party bus.
It was. There was a little turntable. I don't know if you ever remember a turntable with records. Anyway, on the way back, unfortunately, there was an accident where the bus hit a train, and it killed 19 people.
Oh my goodness!
And luckily, I say luckily, most of the 19 people were on the bottom deck. So mostly were adults. One child died up in the top deck, and my friends all survived. And I survived, but it was a warlike zone.
Yeah.
When it stopped, and were things like people drove up and started taking watches off people's bodies and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness!
It was an awful time. My father got into trouble with the police because he was saying, "Where were the police?" That they didn't police it. I mean, there were lots of things. This is back in 1970, I think. So. It's the sort of thing that kind of just sits with you, when people talk about the problems and all that. I know that I think what doesn't destroy you makes you stronger. And so singularly, it sits with me and has done now for all these years. And, and I think it really does impact on my outlook. That it, yeah, look, it's just part of my makeup.
Yeah, it reminds me of when I worked for Elders.
Yeah.
Malcolm Jackman was the CEO, and he said he was from the Navy.
Yeah.
And so Elders was undergoing terrible financial problems at the time, and I remember him saying regularly, "No one's going to die today." And so for him, he had that, like you do, a foundation to come back to on what is a bad day.
Yes. And that's really true. Wouldn't you like to tell people that? Wouldn't you like to say, look, don't give me your concerns about the car breaking down or being late and all that sort of thing. Hey, be a survivor.
Yeah.
Be a survivor. And that's really important, And no matter what you tell people, until they experience it, I don't think they ever actually really understand it. Mm.
What is your purpose?
I think that changes depending on where you are in life. When I went to Institute of Technology, it was in my day, I wanted to be a really good accountant. And then when I came out and I became partner of the firm, I wanted our firm to be the best there is. And I still want that these days, but that was the purpose, that was the hard work. And then children came along, and that completely changes you. And so during my age, I have 3 kids. While they were at home, my aim was to give them the best education possible. And for me, having gone to private school, that meant sending them to private school. So I worked hard to ensure that they would get the best education. Unfortunately, 2 became lawyers, so you can't win them all. But,
that's true. Sorry to hear that.
And Matt's in advertising. My God, it was always interesting around the table. Anyway, so but I wanted to achieve that. That was the aim, to get them educated, because that was, even my father who came out from Italy, his aim was education. So that's why he sent us to college, because he believed, he went to CBC, so he believed that college was the best education. So so that was the aim during that period. Now, I don't know. It's funny. It's the next stage of my life, and I am trying in some ways to work out what the purpose actually is, because it's a whole different world now. I've got 2 grandkids, lovely kids, and enjoy their company heaps, and I still enjoy getting together with the family. But it's funny. You have to recalibrate. Yeah, recalibrate and redesign, and I'm not quite sure. I'll come back to you. The next one, I'll let you know when I have an update on what the purpose is. I mean, I still want to be a very good accountant. I want to be a great advisor, and I want to be a help to people, etc. But I have to work out a purpose. Yeah, it's coming, but I just haven't quite refined it yet at this stage.
Is there anything that I should have asked you that I haven't asked?
Well, we're in Adelaide. You haven't asked me if I barrack for the Crows or the Power.
Oh my goodness,
I cannot believe that.
Do you?
Oh, hello. Look at me. Do you think I'd vote for the Power? My godfather. No, come on, the Crows. Go Crows. So I'm sorry to all my Power clients out there.
You've just declared yourself.
Yeah, I've just. There goes half the practice. Anyway, so no, look, no, I don't think so. It's actually quite funny, because I think some of the questions make you think about things that you don't often think about.
Well, then, as a final question, now that the football thing's out of the way, what would you say to 18-year-old Trevor?
Be true to yourself. Be real. Would I change a lot from 18-year-old Trevor? Oh, there are some things I would change for sure, but in the end, no. I'm happy with the way life has turned out, but the path I followed. So would I say to him, no, be true to yourself, be real, and it will work hard and it will happen. That's what I would say.
Thanks for tuning in to the podcast today. If you're still listening, you can find the show notes on our website, ulegal.com.au. You're welcome to go ahead and subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with anyone that you think might benefit from it, anyone that you think is open to helping us create a world with a purpose that's higher than profit. If you're an accountant on purpose, feel free to find our Facebook page and join our community.